Hi everyone, I'm Josh, back with another video on behalf of Nakoa, talking about my experiences being the child of an alcoholic. And so today I'm going to talk about guilt. I think that guilt is one of the most complex emotions that we feel, really. And you know, it's way more. There's way more to it than what I used to think, which was just that guilt was the bad feeling I got when I'd done something wrong. And in that case, when I got older and things were kind of bad, I sort of felt that one of my problems is that I didn't feel guilt. But actually, when I look at guilt for what guilt is, I realised that it's always played a part in my life, really. And when I look at guilt as giving other people a reason to think less of me or to think poorly of me, then I start to realise that it is an emotion that's been in my life, as I say, and I think it's actually very similar to shame in quite a lot of respects. But shame, if shame is feeling like I'm not reaching my own standards, then guilt is feeling like I'm not reaching the standards of others. And that's definitely something that's been very prominent in my life, to be honest. So it's kind of like a false guilt, or like an unhealthy guilt, really. And I've always had this feeling in my life that everything that goes wrong is my fault. And I disguise that, as being a perfectionist quite often. But really, the truth is that I've always been setting myself up to be a loser, really, because my perception of other people's standards for my behaviour has just been set so high that I'm never really going to be able to reach it. And so I've always had this feeling of low self-worth that comes from that, really. And I never really realised that came from guilt. But you know, realising it actually gives you the ability to do something about it. And when you start to realise where your emotions are coming from and you can give them a name, then you really can start to do stuff about it. Do you know what I mean? I have found that. I've certainly found that, you know, throughout my life, where I've suppressed my feelings and never spoke about them and never dealt with my emotions properly and in a healthy manner, they always come out of me in a good disguise. Like I say, guilt disguising itself as being a perfectionist, or they just come out of me in a different way, in some learned behaviour that I think is like a comfort blanket, really, that I can't get rid of. But you know, you can't sort something out that doesn't have a name, really. So in learning this stuff about myself, it gives me the opportunity, really, to be able to do something about it. You know, because having this false guilt, or a belief that I'm responsible for all the negative stuff that happens, it just makes life very, very difficult, and it makes it, you know, I've taken that stuff into relationships. Do you know what I mean? With friends, family, girlfriends, and when you're taking such feelings of guilt into a situation and feeling it before things have even happened, it sets you, like I say, it sets you up for a loser, and then you start to believe that everything is your fault, you know. And of course, when I was younger and I had my alcoholic father was still alive, I lived a life where we pretended that negative emotions didn't happen, and I've always like escaped reality, really. And so there's this belief in my mind that negative things should never happen. And like I say, that might be where the link comes through as well, where I put a lot of the blame onto myself. So I guess that, you know, that again, like every video that I seem to be making, this is all just about talking about it, you know. I was asked, people have mentioned to me about doing a video on guilt, and it was one of them. I just like, I knew it was part of my life, but I couldn't put into words how it was making me feel, or how it was a part of my life. And then, so through going off and chatting to a few people about this, and through having a little bit of a read and looking stuff up, you know, it opens my mind up again, and it's more freedom, you know. And you know, since I started doing this, the amount of stuff that I've realised is going on in my life that is linked to being a COA is just incredible. And that comes from just blindly talking about how I'm feeling, really, getting them truths and getting them out. And I learn a whole bunch of stuff about, you know, how this illness affects me, really. And so as usual, the website and the email address and everything's on here, and so I, you know, just urging people to start trying to gently talk about this stuff if you feel like any of it's hitting home.